Today I want to talk about the word confession. Now, I know the word confession is a word that a lot of people have really mixed feelings about. On the one hand, we can see the value of confession, and we in fact really want it from others when they're the one who has done something wrong and needs to confess. But on the other hand, we are way less enthusiastic about confession when we're the one who's in the wrong and needs to confess. I'm also aware that one reason that some people are uncomfortable with the word confession is, unfortunately, the fact that this is a word that has been kind of misused by religious people at certain times in the past, and I guess still today. They've used it to browbeat people and to humiliate them, to say that people are bad or less than. And all of these things are just wrong, and they're not biblical at all. But I think the main reason that most of us are uncomfortable with confession is just that it's hard, that it's uncomfortable, that it's embarrassing. It's exposing our faults and the wrong we've done, our shortcomings. And, all of these emotions about confession, well, those are real and legitimate things that we might feel. But I also know that when we're honest with ourselves, we probably realize that none of those are good reasons for us not to confess, if that's in fact something that we really need to do. But today I really want to focus on the fact that there's actually a good side to confession that we forget about. In fact, in the Bible, when that word is used, when confession is used, it's most often a positive word, a redemptive word. And so you might ask, well, what's good about confession? Well, let me name a few things. For one, confession is about us being honest and truthful. And those are character traits that we would hopefully all aspire to. And in fact, they're character traits that God calls us to. So confession is about being honest and truthful, and that's a good thing. Confession can also be a real relief. There's an old saying that I've got to get something off my chest, and people often use that saying to refer to something that they need to confess that's become like a crushing weight to them. And keeping the wrong that we've done bottled up can be very stressful. And in fact, it can be damaging because we compound the problem. There's what we've done wrong, and now the fact that we won't be honest about it, and it can cause things to fester. And so confession can be a release and a relief from all of that. Confession is also about owning what we've done wrong, taking responsibility for it. And in that way, it's really about maturity. And maturity is something that we should all be seeking after in our lives. And we know that it's the immaturity of a child that yells, "I didn't do it," when they clearly did do it. God is hoping for us to grow to spiritual maturity. That's his call. And a part of that is for us to deal maturely with our sin. Confession is also something that is really important at times when it comes to repairing damaged relationships. It's only when confession happens in many cases that healing can begin, that reconciliation can begin, only when that kind of honesty and maturity is brought to the table. So that's another good thing. But the very best thing about confession that we know as people of faith is that if we confess our sins to God, God promises to always, always forgive us. 1 John 1:9 says this: "If we confess our sins, God is faithful and just and will purify us from all unrighteousness." So if we confess our sins honestly and wholeheartedly, there's that promise that God will forgive us. But I hope you also heard that it said in there that God will purify us. That means God will wipe the slate clean, making it as though we never sinned in the first place. So confession may not be fun, but it can be really a good thing. So where is there a place where maybe there's something you need to confess? And who is it that you might need to confess that to?